Hello, good evenings, my friends, fellow travelers, and as well as photographers. Good evening to you. I'm Chris Lee here, a photographer, a hobbyist, and have been traveling around the world quite a fair bit lately, except this year because of COVID-19 pandemic. I'm launching the YouTube travel channels with the hope that they bring the world closer. And at the same time, you also let me have opportunity to show the world how beautiful the earth we are staying in. And today is a launching of my travel channels, and I will share a bit on my travel journey and how I become a travelgrapher. I use the word travelgrapher because I'm traveling and take a lot of pictures, and I'm a photographer. I put it combined to say travelgrapher for ease of reference. And today is also the state of Sabah election date for those who are staying in Malaysia. It's one of the states that having their general elections, and the result in the mid of announcing, and I believe many of you could also follow Facebook on the latest news of the election result. And for those who are actually sharing with me, who are here with me, I thank you for sparing your time to come over and view my introduction of my travelogue or travel channels. Now, as I said earlier, the intention of this travel channel is very straightforward. I just want to share my travel journey to the world, and I will start off with today on this YouTube to start sharing all my travel photos. Now, okay, as I say that in order to kick off today, I will talk about how I get involved, fall in love with photography. I started to fall in love with my photography at the age of about 15 years, during my high school time, when my parents, particularly my father, brought back a camera. My brothers and I will start sharing using the camera. It's from that time I fall in love with photography. And since then, I've been using this camera to take picture, of course, in film era. And therefore, we can't take too many pictures because the cost. And I was involved in my last year of high school as the president of photography clubs. And during that year, I have a chance to experience the darkrooms techniques that is we use in the earlier year during film era to process our film, develop it, and then after that we print it out. All are done in the dark rooms. And I still remember in one of the event of the school, and we were invited to the cameraman for the event, and we managed to capture quite a fair bit of picture of the participants. And later on, when we developed the picture of us in black and white and shared it with all the participants, they are so interested and they start purchasing from us. And this is the first time we encounter in the business sense in photography. But of course, we are non-profit making organization. It's just that we are not making any money from that, but actually just make sure at the end of the day the cost is break even. From there, I move on with my photography journey. In high school, to the college. Been so active and been fall in love so much on photography, and end of it, my classmate, what they did give me a nickname, or rather a title, that I'm the cameraman of the years, because wherever you found me, you will find a cameras hanging on my neck. And after the college, then of course the next stage is that I move into a working life. And during the early years of my working life, of course, I had to build a career. And at the same time, I'm also getting married, forming a family. Of course, more time was devoted in setting up a firm financial for the family. At the same time, also I have to take care of family and also my career. Of course, that's a time where I lie low in my photography. As time go by the time I turn 40s, then families have more stabilized, financial of the family also getting better. Of course, then I started to take up the hobby again and also start traveling. And it's still during the film era at the very time, and therefore when we travel, we can't really bring a lot of roll of film with us. First, it takes up a lot of space. Secondly, is because of the cost. So I still remember that every trips that we went, that I carry between 10 to 20 rolls of film, depending on the duration of the travel, of the trip. And looking at the films that we are bringing along with, is only have exposure 36, but of course we managed to take up to 38 exposure per roll of the films, and therefore the maximum number of pictures that I can take and bring home at the end of the trip is about 760. And we are not very sure, so even at the end of the trips, that out of 760, if I were to bring 20 rolls of films, I also would not know how many pictures will be successful. I mean, I will have a nice picture taken that have the right exposures and things like that. And therefore, the photography skill become very important, that you really have to know quite well the basic of photography before you press a shutter, because every shutter they will press, there's no reward. Either get it or you don't get it at all. And I encountered the cases whereby I unload the films not correctly. At the end of the day, the whole roll was not widened in, and the whole roll was just blank. Happily come back and process and develop the roll of negative that turned out to be not a single picture was taken. What a heartbreaking. So therefore you can see that during a frame errors that be a photographer is not as easy as compared to now, as the digital cameras are already taking over the frame cameras. And it's for that reason that I start active back and taking more pictures during the trips. And until at the 21st century, that means in the year 2000 and beyond, I still remember I bought my first digital cameras in the year 2002. And at the time, the camera is very compact and with very little function. I see whether I can get the camera to show you how it looked like in 19 years ago. Now, this will be the compact digital cameras that I bought during the year 2002. Unfortunately, these cameras are no longer can be used. At the same time, at the back, the screen, the LCD screen also has spoiled. But then, and also they have only 1.3 million pixels, and the function is very limited. But at the time, venture into digital camera is for one simple reason, because the world have changed and we had to change too. So as a photographer, like or don't like it, you had to move on. And that time we were still quite hesitating whether we should move on into the digital cameras, because they are saying that the digital camera image are not as good as frames cameras. But it's no longer true. Over years, the technology had advanced, the sensor technology had advanced so far and so much that now the frame errors cameras may not as good as the digital camera now. So you can see that in the market now, most of the people have turned into digital and have fade out the frame cameras. And as more and more trips, my hard disk, and therefore I realized that why don't you just do something and share? And therefore, in these instances, that it gave me the idea of go for YouTube. But anyway, when digital error come in, every trip that I've taken, I also have print out. Before that, I print it in the photo and then saw it in the photo album. But the photo albums are fairly bulky and heavy. But when it turned into a digital error itself, I found that actually also there's an emerge of so-called publisher or printer for photo books. And I also start involved in producing my own photo books. I find it it's very handy, and you can write something on it. But from my early stage of my photo book is strictly a photo book, whereby it's just only images or pictures. There's no description whatsoever. And I still recall that in one of the instances when my friend came over to my house and viewed my photo books, he made a remark saying that if I could get more info of your trips from your travel photo, it would be so much better. And that's where I decided, why don't I start writing something, or rather convert my photo book into a pictorial travelogues. And that's how it come about that I further improved my photo book into the form of travelogues, and then finally ended in these current situations. Now I would like to show you how I decided to involve in the YouTube to share my photo. But before that, during the digital era, I actually attempted using one of the platform. I think it's also under Google, and it's called Picasa. It's basically web albums, and I have actually consistently over the last 4 to 5 years uploading all my travel photo in an organized manner, in a folder by folder basis, with each photo are comprised of one place in any one of the country, and did some description of the place. Unintentionally, over the 5 years that before the Picasa was removed, or rather by Google for our reason, I realized that actually I have more than 3 million viewers have visited my Picasa website. Of course, it's quite disheartening that when this platform was removed, at one time I was so set back and say, what a waste after the 5 years attempt. And that's why from there I did not make any attempt to share any photo. And some people will ask me, why you want to print out the photo books? It's so costly. Yeah, indeed, it's not cheap. Photo book is not cheap. Printing it not only take time, but also you need really have to invest. But as a photographer, I feel that actually printing out of your images, particularly those images that you like most, it gives you some form of fulfillment. You feel very proud of it when you have taken a nice picture and you want to showcase your pictures. And the best form of showcase is print in the hard copy form. That is actually a print. But printing a small print actually may not be able to exhibit the quality of the image. You need to print it in a large print. Then you can see how sharp the image are. Therefore, printing of your images is one way, as a tools or a method to assess how well your picture have been taken. And every time when you start producing the photo books, you may not able to put all the pictures you have taken, all the images that you have. You may have pick and choose. And in the process of pick and choose all these photos to be included in your photo books, it could be from a couple of thousand pictures to a couple of hundreds of pictures only to be placed in the photo books. It would be quite a tedious task to decide out of every 10 pictures you only pick one, and you will ask yourself why you pick that one, not the other 9. It's from there you are literally doing a reviewing of your photo and look back of what you have taken, and you start realizing some of these pictures it could have made some mistake for whatever reason, and you start learning from your mistake, and each time you go out and take pictures, you're getting better. And this is how I get improved of my photography. Now this is just to make this session less boring. I have actually selected a few of my favorite pictures to show here. And recently, the last few months, I have been actually going through the thousands of pictures and try to classify them into certain category, and then collecting 40 number and put it into an album of photo books to form my collection. So far, I have 4 volumes have been created, and now I'm sharing with you some of these images. It's my favorites. I'm not sure whether you like it or not, but I want to tell you where the place this picture are taken. Like this picture that now on the screen is basically a picture taken in southern Thailand, a place called Patalong. And we went there under the Photography Society that I'm a member more than 10 years already. And this society is called Petaling Jaya Photography Society, or PSPJ. And it's also where I get to know a lot of photography kaki or photography friends. Now, these pictures is taken at the lake. It's a lake, but this lake is very close to the sea, the South China Sea. And the fishermen village was just nearby at the side of the lake, and they built these wooden fishing structures on the lake, and then whereby you can see that the net, that are cantilever out from the structures, and when they lower this net into the lake, into the waters, and then lift it up again, they could caught some fish. This is how they catch a fish in this village. Now we have to move on to next slide. This is a picture that taken in Eastern Java, and for those who have been there, you will recognize it's actually Mount Bromo. Again, this is actually joining a free and easy trip organized by my friends, and I like this place very much. Quite adventurous place. You need a lot of trekking, and oversee the crater of the Mount Bromo, and it's active volcano, and you can see the sulfuric flame is still emitting from the volcano. Back to Malaysia. I went to East Malaysia, Sabah, and this was during a business trip, whereby I purposely extend another day of stay, and whereby then I joined a day trips to a place called Benford Wetlands. It's more for ecotourism, experience the wildlife over there along the rivers. At the same time, viewing the firefly is very famous there as well. Then at the same time having a dinner, enjoying the sunset, and I was very fortunate to have this beautiful sunset captured in this fishing village along the river. The next picture is taken in New Zealand, the South Islands, a place called Benford Sound. I joined this trip organized by my photography friends. He was a past president of PSPJ, and we are about on the way back after having a cruise in this place, and I said the weather was quite wet, or rather it's a bit drizzling and about the rain, and the sky was overcrowded or covered with cloud. And then I realized that there's one small hole where the setting sun rays were punched through, and then also the moody mood of this scene actually attract me very much. In fact, all my friends along the trip, the travel mates, are also very excited. We took a lot of pictures of this moody scene, and I like pictures that are able to give you a sense of a scene, the feel of the scene, and this type of picture that is I like most. Here is another picture taken in Malaysia at the coastal, the west coast of West Malaysia in the state of Selangor. It is actually the coastal town and a fishing village, and we are having a sunset using the coconut trees as the background and as in the form of silhouettes. And I like this picture as well. The warm setting sun color plus the coconut tree silhouette is also one of my favorites. Again, this is a picture taken in Malaysia, in a northern state of Perak, and most of you probably will recognize this is Lake Garden, Taiping Lake Garden. Taiping Lake Garden is very popular and very beautiful. We put a night. Again, this photography trip was organized by PSPJ, and the windless morning had made the lake surface a perfect piece of mirror, a perfect reflection of everything that shine on it. You can see the trees, the scraps, the landscape, everything, the sky was truly reflected from the mirror's surface of the lake. And I move on to the next slide or next picture is basically in Russia, Central Russia, a place called Lake Baikal. And this is just a preview of one of the pictures that I'm going to share with you in my coming episode or series of my travelogues. I have picked Russia, the world's largest landmass country, as my first nation to showcase my travelogues, and will break into 4 series, and Lake Baikal will be the first one to showcase. And this image was taken in the early morning, and as far as I'm concerned, just before the sunrise. We are under the freezing temperatures of about more than minus 10 degrees, and under a windy condition, trying to be there, staying there for about nearly an hour, try to capture the sunrise of this Lake Baikal, the scene. and the rock outcrop of this tiny island that was found in Lake Baikal will give you a feeling it looked like a sail, right, emerging from the lake. But a beautiful scene. The next photo I'm showing you is further north of Malaysia in the state of Penang, and this is Penang Islands. I'm also using the wooden hut and the boats in Malaysia called sampan as my foreground interest, and then of course then the rising sun and the horizons as my background. And again, this picture was being picked and exhibited by many organizations when I showcase this picture. Okay, this is just some of my favorite picture. You will see more of these pictures in all the subsequent series episode of my travelogues, and not to worry that all of them, all the good picture will be showcased in my travelogue. Now, from photo books to travelogues, the differences between photo book and travelogue is that the travelogue will have information of the place that I have visited. There will be some write-up of the place, and I'm going to showcase you one of the travelogues which have been produced in the form of photo books, and to let you know why I'm so proud of these travelogues, because it's really like a journey, a record of my travel journey, and at the same time he tells a story for the reader. Whoever read my travel books itself, they will get quite a fair bit of information. The man is quite informative, but to do this style photo book is not easy, and it could take time. Sometimes it took me more than 2 months during the night and during the weekend just to produce the photo books. And let's look at some of the pages that I've extracted from this photo book. And this is actually a stopover to Amsterdam during my trip to South America, Peru and Bolivia. And I have not been Netherlands, so that the scenic transit in Netherlands, Amsterdam, I decided to stop over and for 3 days. And during these 3 days, I managed to capture quite a fair bit of nice picture of this beautiful city of Netherlands. Now, in order to make my photo book much more informative, that I always reserve my very first page on my photo books with some write-up, and also to let the viewer have a clearer understanding where this place is located. Maps are usually enclosed so that you are better informed of the place that I have going to showcase you. And I segregate the picture clearly and located a few pages per locations. At the beginning of the pages, right, then I will write a brief description of the place as like shown in this slide above, right? And if I find that I have more info to share, then I will then insert it in between pictures in the subsequent page. So I did that so that while going through my photo book, my travelogues, then you will tend to collect a fair bit of travel info of the place. Yeah, this is just a few more pages that have been abstracted to see how I actually exhibit the place of all the pictures that I have taken, I have to ensure that all the pictures are carefully selected, that it tells a story, because I try to give a comprehensive information of the place I've traveled. And to do that, then there is a further requirement that I should not limit myself, my picture, only to sceneries. I have to cover other aspects of travel. That is actually including the shoppings, the food, the custom, the religions, if any. Because travel is not just about scenery. Travel is about everything. To travel is to experience. So, place that contain all these elements, food, good scenery, good spot for shoppings where the lady like most, will make your travel trip very interesting. So, this is how I share some of the pictures of the flower store in Amsterdam. And I also sometimes include some maps to give an overview of the place, the specific place that showcase in the particular sections of my photo books. I'm not going to detail on all this today, because all this will be showcased in detail in a subsequent episode. So finally, I'm coming to a so-called YouTube era. I posting many albums in Picasa. Unfortunately, was removed the platform, and been lying low on this. But this COVID-19 pandemics, where most people are knocked down at home, countries are closed their borders. A lot of travelers are literally staying home, like me, for this year. And therefore, I give the feeling that why should I just keep my images in a hard disk? One day the hard disk crashed, all these images will be gone. And when I'm gone, I would doubt anybody going to share these pictures. So I decided now to start sharing all my pictures that I've taken travel over the last 20 years during the digital era. And this is what molded me the idea of kickstart these travel channels in YouTube. And I should consider very fortunate, and we should be very fortunate, because now you want to learn anything, you can literally learn from the multimedia. And when I decided to broadcasting live of my travelogues, I've actually have used about 2 months in preparation, plus setting up this broadcasting desk, and with just only one sole objective: to share. Because the world around us are so beautiful, and I'm considered fortunate that I could have a chance to travel. I know many of you who wish that would be like me, because due to your commitment to your family and your work itself, you didn't have the time. I could do so because now I'm semi-retired, so I could have the time to travel. But why traveling? Why capturing all these beautiful images? Keeping in a hard disk is not the solution. Sharing with the world, sharing with my friends, is the solution. So, before I end today's sessions, I have decided to showcase my travelogue. As I mentioned earlier, my first nation that I picked to showcase my travelogues will be Russia, in 4 sections. And I will do it in a fortnightly basis, because I really need time to regroup the pictures and to see further information, so that I can enrich the content and make it more informative. And if you want to continue follow my channels to get the latest information of my travel journey, you have two alternatives. One is you subscribe to my channels. Two is you press the notification bell so that you will get notified as soon as there is an upload of video or there's a live streaming from me. And I hope that this YouTube video or this live streaming or subsequently it will be a video form will able to keep you comfortably at home, having a virtual tour of the world, seeing the world behind the lens. And at the same time, my sole wishes here is that I hope this channel can be spread and shared with many more people around the world. To all my travel friends, to all the photographers, and to all the people around the world. And therefore, I hope this platform also provide an avenue, opportunity for travelers to exchange informations together to get more information of the place that showcase in each particular video that I uploaded. If you are a person that have been visited this place, or you are a person staying at the place that I'm showcased, and you are much more knowledgeable than me and you have a lot of information, particularly there's some latest information for you to share to other visitors and friends, you are encouraged to showcase here by making comment or provide the information at the comment space below. And I sincerely hope that this could help for travelers who haven't decided the next destination, next stop, so that he make up his mind if he found that my travelogue proved interesting to him or to her. That at the same time, I wish to promote tourism. The tourism and hospitality industries in this COVID-19 pandemics are the worst hit industries. I understand many travel agents, travel companies, tour organizers are suffering. Some even have to close down. And their income shrank substantially. I just hope the COVID-19 pandemic can be over soon. The world will reopen their borders and we can travel again. And therefore, I'm alright, perfectly alright to see if this travel agency are willing to use this platform. If happen to be any of my travelogues have covered any itinerary or any trip they are organized under the flagship, but also use it as a promotion material to help them to promote the trips, right? And because I believe that to attract people to any place, the best form is make use of a photographer. If we invite a group of photographers to any new spot, if they have managed to capture beautiful scenes when they displays, showcase their photograph on the multimedia, they will attract a lot of visitors to that place. So these YouTube's travel channels, as I said in the beginning of my sessions, that I'm trying to bring the world closer. I want to showcase the beautiful world that we are living. At the same time, some of this beautiful scene may not be there soon, because if we don't keep good care of the earth that we stay in. So sharing to me is the most important thing I wish to achieve in this YouTube channel. Lastly, I hope you like this live streaming. I just hope that you enjoy it and you continue to subscribe and follow through in my all subsequent series. And I wish you a good health, stay strong, and of course, enjoy your travels, enjoy your photographies, and good night. Right? Okay, so I will then end today's sessions here, and thank you very much for staying with me for this half an hour. See you again soon in the next episode, a travel log to Russia, a place called Lake Baikal. 2 weeks from today. That means fortnightly interval on the Saturday night at 9 p.m. Malaysian time. See you again my next episode. Thank you and bye.